You know, humans are social creatures. That's true. Research shows that long-term relationships with friends and family make a positive impact in our lives, long-term mental health and overall well-being.
Yeah, you can say that again. A new book written by a West Michigan author explores why we're hardwired for connection and how relationships have the ability to awaken and to us to give and receive love. It's called Love Will Liberate. We've got native Kalamazoo author, therapist, and speaker Tamara West. She's here to tell us more. Congratulations on your second book.
Thank you so much. I'm really delighted to be back with you all.
Thank you so much for coming back. Let's talk about this book and kind of the motivation behind it.
Absolutely. So as a follow-up to my second book, you know, with this being my second book, I'm sorry, it's really my journey of healing, right? I left a 20-year relationship, which was good in a multitude of ways, not really realizing coming from trauma, having a trauma background, and how that was interfering with my ability to love and receive love in the way that I was humanly designed to. And so started off on this journey of healing and realized that this was a phenomena that many people were faced with, right? This isolation is a real problem for many people. You know, people harm, but also people heal. And so a lot of times as we experience hardship from people, starting with our caregivers, which is our first language of love, our first line of our sense of self, that if we are not adequately cared for, then as we grow up, we have an imbalance in our relationships, starting, of course, with the most important relationship, which is with ourself. So there's a lot about self-love in the book as a reservoir to help to support us in receiving the love that we're worthy of. And it's also about helping people to understand that, as you talked about, we are hardwired through our senses. And so the fact that people believe that we are born to be on an island, we're actually not designed to be on an island. And even if we've been married for 30 years, we could actually find happiness again in our relationships as we center practices that I highlight within this book.
Everything you just said makes me want to read this book today.
I know,
right?
Same. I'm like, I need this book.
Trauma, right, and past relationships, and we think of. I love that you talk about love, not so much in a relationship issue, but as a health and well-being.
Yes,
Can you expand on that? I mean, you kind of just did.
Absolutely. So, you know, one of the largest studies that have been done about longevity and vitality in life was done by Harvard. And what it showed is that the most important thing that we can do in terms of our well-being is to cultivate positive relationships. And when we do that, it supports our well-being in a way that nothing else can. So there's lots of practices out there that support us in cultivating our ability to sleep well, and our ability to be creative, and our ability to be inspired, and our ability to have joy. But when we're talking about what makes life worth living, it is relationships. And it's not just trauma that interferes with our ability to love and receive love. It's also having a non-secure attachment style. And so on average, in the upwards of 40% of the population, they have one. So what all this means is that if you grow up in a household, and let's say that you have a parent who was emotionally unavailable. So you could have all of the amazing opportunities, you could grow up with wealth, but if you don't have the ability to cultivate your emotions and express those emotions, then you're not going to be able to connect in the ways that we were designed to. So someone like that could have what's called an avoidant attachment style and really believe that they have to be independent, and independence is the way to go because they can't rely on other humans to be a reservoir of support for them. So that's just one example, right? So an avoidant attachment is not necessarily going to be hard pressed to find connection, but they are going to benefit from having connection when they can really face themselves and understand what's disconnecting them from the very thing that they were designed to do to begin with.
So can this book take us to kind of see inside of ourselves, to see where we're at and help us get out of that? If we're feeling like, yeah, I'm here and I'm on my island, how can this help us engage and change our behavior so we can have better relationships?
Yeah, so the book is really about relationships in all forms, right? From being a parent to being a daughter to having a lover, a husband, a friend. And so it's all the science behind how we're hardwired for connection. It's the science behind how we fall, including how we fall in terms of our platonic relationships, and then also inside insight into what our attachment style is and what we can do to counter that. So there's tons of practical exercises in here to help people to make this come to fruition. So there's a chapter, for example, on self-love, and then a chapter that follows, which is called 18 Steps to Unapologetically Love Yourself. And there's a school of thought that you have to love yourself in order to love other people. And that is true from a sustainability standpoint. However, people can also come into our lives and help us to ignite the love within ourselves. So it can happen within and without. But also, if we're talking about fast tracking our ability to be in connection with people, then our ability to face ourselves, understand what's hindering our ability to connect, and being willing to have the courage to do things like be vulnerable, right? Which can be very, very scary. But if we want depth in relationships, it requires us to be vulnerable and us to face some pretty hard truths.
Yeah, it really does. And if you are hearing this and you're thinking, I want to learn, seems like a book I'm going to read with a highlighter. Okay, I'm going to
Right,
that right now.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so.
There's reading and a book signing happening. And this week, on the 26th, Black Arts and Cultural Center right there in Kalamazoo, where you can meet Damar right there and ask her any questions you have about it. Also in April as well. So a couple of opportunities for you to meet the author, dive deeper into this book, but we encourage you to check it out today. DamaraWest.com for more information. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. I appreciate you.